Lord, I'd like to thank you so much for the Sabbath day you've blessed us with. Lord, we've been able to fellowship with you, with each other, and I just want to thank you for that, and thank you for the privilege that you've given us to come to you. I know our numbers are few this evening, Lord, but you are still here. Thank you, Lord. Please be with us now. Be with Terry as he shares. And Lord, I just pray that through his sharing, you will draw us closer to you. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Well, Terry is going to be sharing to us tonight, and we are few in number, but the Lord is here, and did have good news. I had mentioned it this morning about Colorado getting snow. Our son had called us this afternoon and said that they are off the mountain. They have evacuated camp, and he said they have now changed the snowfall from 2 to 3 feet, that's the low end, to 10 feet.
Oh, no. 10 feet of
You know, he said it just depends on how the storm tracks and if it keeps spinning, over them. So he said anywhere from 2 to 3, so they're guaranteed 2 to 3 feet. He said, but they're saying it could in some areas reach 10 feet of snow. And so, but they are safe off the mountain down in Littleton, so I'm glad that camp staff is safe, so anyway. All right, but Terry, come and share with us tonight.
Oh.
You want us to come closer, or are you?
Yeah, that's fine. You want to? That's okay. Whatever. So how y'all doing this evening? Good, good. Well, you know me. I'm a gabby person, and they gave me 45 minutes. I'm like, oh, well, I got plenty of time then for what I want to do. But anyway, this is a time for testimony. God has worked in my life so many times. I mean, we'd be here probably a week. I'd be talking about what God's done in my life. I mean, there was times like I had a Toyota pickup that the shifter went out on it there in Neosho, Missouri, of all things. And we lived in Arkansas. And there was this little bee place right there on the side of the road off of, I think it was 71. And so we pulled into that place. And, of course, it's like 9:30 at night. And we barely got in there, and stuff. And all of a sudden this guy pulls up right behind us, and I'm going, I told him my situation. He says, well, I'm the guy that actually owns this bee establishment and stuff. And he said, I just came here to do some, I needed to check on my honey and stuff, and I was like, oh. And so he said, well, where do you live? And I said, we live back in Arkansas. And he says, well, I guess I could drive you there. And I'm like, really? And this is an older gentleman, and he says, what's your name? And I said, Terry Flaxbeard. He says, you're not related to Henry Flaxbeard, are you? And he said, yeah, that's my grandfather. He said, oh, me and Henry go back long ways. I know Henry good well. In a small world, of all things, and God used that man to take us all the way back to Arkansas and get home. So I've had many, many different times that God has miraculously helped my wife and I. And so, but believe it or not, back in September of last year, pastor asked me, he said, Terry, would you mind having a sermon for us? And I said, no, I don't mind. I had no clue what was going to happen after he asked me that. But I came up with a mountain of challenges, and so I was going to share that with you, actually. It says here, each day we have challenges that affect us, and we wonder if we'll ever make it through. It could be extreme challenges like, how can I get rid of bed bugs in my home? Or it could be simple challenges like, what friend will I accept to be my pen pal? I've had a tough year like the rest of you. My year was tough, but agreeable all the way up until September of this year. My family, luckily, were not affected with COVID until then. We all work at Walmart night shift, and because of that, only 2 can go on a vacation together. And so because of that, just Joshua and myself went up to see my dad up there in Kansas City. And lo and behold, we get up there, and he says, well, Terry, I need to let you know I have bed bugs in my house. And I didn't know what bed bugs were. You know, I was like, okay, well, all right. And so I get there, and, you know, and he's got, you know, spots on his back and things, and I'm going, what? And I'm going, okay. And so we spent the 2 nights there at his house, and we're supposed to go over to Donna's, which is Lisa's mom's, is like 20 minutes away up in Lee Summit. My dad lives in Pleasant Hill, and the reason why he got bed bugs, believe it or not, is his girlfriend's family, one of their husbands had a terrible trucking accident up in New York. So they went up to New York to go give their you know, to show their understanding and stuff. And so while they were there, the lady realized my dad impersonated Elvis Presley. And so she asked him if he would do Amazing Grace. And so my dad's like, okay, sure. And so he went there, and they were getting ready for it, you know, and the sound people, they told him they had certain tracks, and every one of the tracks did not fit my dad's voice. So he ended up doing an a cappella. And when they got finished, they said that, because my dad, evidently, he does like Elvis, when he sings, he really feels the song. And so when they got done, they said, that's the best we've ever heard that song sung. And you did, and even the sound people, they said, well, you didn't need any sound, sir. You did fine without any sound. You didn't need any background or anything. And so whenever he got done, he went outside I guess they had it a fireplace or fire station or something, this process. And when they came out, he was a truck driver, remember? There were at least 15 truckers there, and they all honked their horns at the same time off their trucks. 15 of them to show their appreciation for my dad. So anyway, when he got back home, he found out there was bed bugs at the hotel where he stayed. And so that's how he got bed bugs into his house. So I just letting you know, my dad normally keeps his house clean. It's just that was the thing. That's what happened, you know. You go to a hotel, and he got bed bugs. So anyway, I'm in this situation with this bed bug situation, and so I see my dad sitting there on his sofa, and all of a sudden there's this bug crawling on his shirt, and I'm like, okay, this is a lot worse than I thought. And he just reaches down, he grabs it and squeezes it and kills it in the middle of his fingers. No big deal. And I'm going, yeah, but that's one I've already seen, you know, and I mean, how many more do you have all over the house? And he said, well, I'll let you know, where you all are sleeping, there's no bed bugs yet. We don't have any bed bugs in your bedrooms, so you guys will be fine. Josh will stay in that one room, and you in the other room, and there's no bed bugs there. But in my dad's house, bedroom, I guess, there was a big nest of them and stuff, and he was trying to kill them and do everything. And then in the living room and under the sofa, there was a bunch of them. So anyway, we're sitting there visiting him and stuff. We never got bit. Everything was fine. So we get up, we get all of our stuff packed up, and we go over to Donna's house. But I went into the garage, and I checked all of our clothes and made sure there was no bed bugs or anything, and nothing there. So we went ahead and stayed with her for 2 days and had a wonderful time. Then we were supposed to go back to my dad's. And we went there, and Thursday night, Friday night, and then Sabbath, I was supposed to sing at the Lee Summit Church, sang there. And then came back. And then we were supposed to come back on Monday, which was really crazy. But Sunday night, I had put my legs over the side of the sofa, and his sofa was kind of weird setting, and so I had to move my back a certain way, and finally I just got down on the floor, and I leaned my back up against the back of the sofa. I should have never done that. And so all of a sudden these bugs, they just came out, and they ate me alive. I had welts on my back and on my neck, all over me. And then Joshua, they bit him on the bottom of his legs. It was like, oh, you guys are leaving. There's flesh blood. We don't want you to leave yet. We're going to bite you. And they just bit the tar out of his legs. And so we thought, okay, you know, you love God, you know, you love your parents and stuff, and even though they got bed bugs, you go say hi. And like I said, I didn't know how bad bed bugs were at the time. In fact, my dad to this day is still fighting them. He got new furniture and did all kinds of stuff, new bed, mattress and stuff, and he still got them. And he's fighting them and fighting. He keeps bombing them and doing different things. Can't get rid of them. So anyway, we come back home, and I immediately go to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Oh, you got scabies." I'm like, "What?" And he says, well, I said, "What's a scabie?" And he says, "Well, it's a bug that rides on the back of a bed bug, and it burrows itself into your skin and lays eggs after 5 days. And you'll have a whole bunch of them all over you." Oh, okay, great, thank you. And so I hurry up and I reach on their scabies, on the internet, and stuff. And I find a company in California who takes care of scabies. They got oils and bath soaps and all this kind of stuff. For $150, you can get all this stuff. So we paid $150 to get this stuff for the scabies. And meanwhile, the doctor had told me, get this Parathrin, and you and your son put it on each other and stuff, wear gloves. He gave us a medical smock to wear and stuff, so we did all that, and we were lotioning ourselves. Well, after a week, it disappeared. We were fine. I went and bought all that stuff for nothing. I still have it. Anybody got scabies, let me know. I've got the stuff. But anyway, so we went ahead and got over that, and I'm thinking, okay, God, thank you. Well, I'd missed a whole week of work. We were on vacation for 1 week. There in September, on my birthday of all things. I get scabies. Come back, and October 3rd, I said, okay, good, I can come back to work. And Lisa went in Saturday night on October 4th, and she said she wasn't feeling well. I thought, okay. And so she went ahead and went to work that night, her and Michael, because they work Saturday nights. That's why they're not here today, by the way. I want to apologize to everybody. Normally it's a family deal, but because of them working nights and stuff, they couldn't be here. And I'll share with you what they were going through with all this too. But so they went ahead and it just kind of was a tough deal all the way around. I get back home, and like I said, Lisa wasn't feeling well. And so Sunday night, after I go in bowling and stuff like I normally do with sliders, she wouldn't. I said, "Are you still not feeling good?" She said, "No." So I took her temperature, and she had a 99.8 temperature. And I said, "You better stay home, and me and the boys will just go to work by ourselves." So we went to work Sunday night on October 5th, and I came home, and they worked me really hard. I'd been off for 2 weeks, and your body's not ready for this hard work again, and stuff, picking up big, 4-gallon of juice boxes and stuff, which weighs about probably 15, 20 pounds, and you're doing all that kind of stuff all night long. And so when I got home at 8:30, I was so exhausted, I just lay down on my bed right away. And lo and behold, at 3:30, I woke up, and I had chills. I thought, oh, no, this doesn't look good. And so I looked over to my wife, and I said, "Lisa, are you feeling any better?" She said, "Not really." So I jumped up, and I bleached all the floors. I went all the linoleum floors, all the bathroom, the kitchen, the boys' bathroom, anywhere I could where there's linoleum, bleached them. And took some vitamin C and went back to bed. And I thought, well, maybe I'll get over this and it won't be so bad. And it didn't go away. And so day after day I had to call in. I just wasn't feeling up to going to work. And I fought it for 10 days. And then finally I just said, "Lisa, I can't do this anymore. I'm too weak. It all ends." And so we called 911, and they came out, an emergency came out, and they took my vitals, and they said, "Oh, we got to get you to the hospital." And so I guess my heart rate was real low, and my blood pressure was not good. And so they got me to the hospital, and they put me in ICU. And they were working with me, and I was too the whole time. My eyes were wide open. I was listening to everything they said. And then all of a sudden, oh, it's all right. Kids will be kids. And so they, and I was fine. And all of a sudden, I just closed my eyes for a few seconds. Then I woke up again. I was fine. And they said, "Well, we're going to have to get you into a hospital room. You're going to have to be here a while." So, okay, that's fine. And so they took my bed and all the way upstairs where their COVID patients were and put me in there. And then one of the nurses later on, I was there for 6 days. Through that week, she told me, said, "Do you realize what happened to you?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, we lost you." while you were in ICU. You died for a few minutes and then you came back. And I said, what? Yeah. They said, yeah, we lost you for a little while and you came back. We brought you back. And so I had no idea that this COVID was that bad on you and stuff. But like I said, I fought it for 10 days. And I guess God wanted me to be here still, so I'm here. And so anyway, we went ahead and fought it. I was there, and they were, doing like the doctors do. They come in every 4 hours, checking your blood pressure, and all this kind of stuff, and keeping you awake all hours of the night. But anyway, I was okay with it, and tried to get as much sleep as I could, and I tried to eat as much as I could. I was really hungry. They said most people don't have an appetite, but I always did. And so I ate good there, and believe it or not, their food was pretty good. I know that the hospitals now are trying to make better appetite or better food to be more palatable for your for meals, and so they were pretty decent. So anyway, they let me go after 6 days, and I went home with oxygen. I had an oxygen, one of these little small little tanks, and stuff, and you have to rent these things. And so I had to make arrangements and call people and find out how much it was going to cost me to rent this machine. And a nurse was there at our house when we got there, and she looked at me and she said, I want to let you know that the virus is really strong right now and stuff, and you may get it again once you get well. I said, well, that's comforting, thank you, and she saw how weak I was. I was a shriveled up guy. I wasn't my normal self, and I had went from 198 pounds to 182 pounds, to give you an idea. I'd lost a lot of weight. And so anyway, she told me, she said, it takes a long time to recover sometimes, and I said, okay. And later on she told me, she said, I didn't know if you were going to make it or not. She said, you look that bad, even with the oxygen, because you could barely talk to me with the oxygen. And so I went ahead and did all they told me to do. Lisa, bless her heart, she fed me 3 meals a day, what she could find. Joshua had busted the washing machine. Somehow the upper part of it had collapsed. And so they had to only use the bottom to wash the dishes. So it was quite a colossal mess there at that time. But I didn't feel well enough to fix the washing machine, and so, or dishwasher, excuse me, not washing machine, dishwasher. I'm messing up here. But anyway, the dishwasher. And so I tried to do what I could, and try to get stronger, and using the oxygen machine. And the thing is, you have to keep them plugged in. And so we had a long extension cord, 150-yard extension cord, and it went all through the house. So I had to go to the restroom. I had to take it with me and stuff. And, I'd get up middle of the night and stuff, and I'm here's this machine, and stuff. And, of course, it's probably waking my wife up as I'm going to the restroom and stuff. But I couldn't help it. I had to have that machine all the time. But she didn't complain. She didn't say anything. So anyway, 4 days go by, and she's taking care of me. And all of a sudden, I get chest pains on my right side. And I don't know what it is. I'm going, wow, this is wild. And so I call 911 again, and they come out, and they did a bigger oxygen machine, and I got over it. And I thought, oh, I'm sorry I called you. It might be just a farce thing, I'm sorry. They said, no, sir, there's something else going on. We don't know. We need to get you to the hospital again. And so I was going to have them take me to JPS this time because they keep the bills. If you can't afford them, they'll help you, pay for them and stuff. And they said, no, you went to Hughley last time. You have to go to Hughley this time. I was like, oh, okay. So they took me to Hughley again. And I was sitting there in the ICU again at a bed for about 40 minutes or so. And then finally a doctor comes in. He says, well, I understand you had a blood clot. I said, well, yeah, I had one 3 years ago in my calf and my ankle area. And they said, well, this might be a blood clot in your lungs. And so we need to do a CAT scan, find out what's really going on with you. And meanwhile, I forgot to tell you, Lisa was breaking down when all this happened. It was really hard on her. She's very emotional, and when she saw me hurting so bad there at house, it was like heartburn, serious heartburn in my chest. And I would try to stand up to get rid of the pain. I would sit down. I did whatever I could, and it wouldn't go away. And she was in tears. She said, God, why are you doing this to me? I can't do this anymore. And it was hard on her. And I understand that, I understand that, that she was doing all she could for me and stuff, and yet here I was in this pain, So when I get to that hospital, and they set me for 30, and he told me that, blood clot, and they did the CAT scan, they found I had 2 cysts in my lungs from the COVID. Evidently, one was bigger on the right side and a smaller one on the left side. The one on the right side was 9 centimeters and had blood in it. And so they went ahead and put me in the hospital again, and I was there for 4 more days. And then they sent me home again with the oxygen. They made me lay on my left side so the blood would drain into my esophagus, and I'd come out and spit and stuff, so that worked out okay. I didn't have a lot of blood or anything, but a little bit. And so meanwhile, bless her heart, I kept asking Lisa to bring me stuff up to the hospital and stuff because I wasn't in COVID anymore. They did a test on me the second time I went, and they asked to see if I had COVID, and it came back negative. I didn't have the COVID anymore. So they put me in a different room, and so Lisa was able to come and see me. Well, bless her heart, that was to her mistake. But anyway, she was there every day bringing me things and stuff. She brought me my music. She brought me my Bible. She brought me clothes. She brought me shampoo. She brought me my shaving cream. She brought me my on and on. But anyway, different things I needed. And so I would able to share my songs with the nurses at night, and stuff. I'd sing with them and stuff. And so I was able to be witness there at the hospital. And so it was interesting through the whole thing, from bed bugs to COVID, of all things. So it was a tough year, and so I went home. I did the oxygen again, and I had a nebulizer. I started doing my own breathing treatments 3 times a day, and I'm here today. I praise the Lord. He healed me from it all, and of course it was hard on my family. It was hard on Lisa especially. Michael took a picture of me, and that really helped me on the sofa and stuff, and I looked like I was dead already. Death run over. And everybody at work saw it, and so they were mentioning after they saw it on Facebook, and they said, well, you look a lot better than you did in that picture. I said, yeah, I feel a lot better too. But yeah, I gradually, from my 182, I started getting more weight back and stuff, but it took a while. And my doctor, in fact, Dr. Seiden is my pulmonologist. He told me, I told him that I was wondering if I was going to get back to normal again, if I'd be able to write songs and sing and preach. He said, oh, you'll be able to do all that. It's going to take some time, but yeah, you'll be all right. You're fine. And so that gave me hope. When you're in a situation like that, you can barely breathe, and you're wondering what's going to happen next, with this COVID. And I was like, man, I can't believe this. It's crazy. But God worked it all out and helped me to get the strength back that I needed. And I'm going to go ahead and read this to you a little bit. Let's see here. Oh, it was tough on all of us. I mean, my kids, they were praying for me too and stuff, of course, and didn't know what was going to, come from it all. But like I said, what was kind of interesting was it gave me a lot of free time. I had to be at home. It happened like October 5th, and I didn't get to go back to work till December 27th. That's 3 months that I had. And so God allowed me to be able to work on that project I've been working on with Michael. He saw the throne of God in a vision and stuff, and me building it out of styrofoam, and I've been making different chairs and angels out of paper mache and all this kind of stuff. So it gave me plenty of time to work on that. And then I also was able to work on a book about my life. It's called my autobiography. And so it's still work on the process and stuff, and I'm actually painting pictures to go along with the stories. So it'll be a neat book when I get it done. But so God gave me a lot of time to do things, that I wouldn't have had before. And so then he also, before I got the COVID, he helped me write a song about, diseases and stuff and COVID, but I didn't bring it with me to share with you all. But anyway, so I've been very busy while I was going through all this, It's been kind of fun. I mean, not fun, but I mean, but the thing was, through the whole thing, I wasn't afraid that God wasn't going to take care of me. That's what's neat about being a Christian. You're not worried, okay, am I ready to go? I was just relaxed. I kind of prayed about it, and I asked God, okay, you take care of me. You do what you need to do. And he did. I've seen him work in my life so many times in the past, like I told you, with the truck and stuff. And for your sake, I'm going to tell the calf story real quick. Pastor Shattuck had this farm, and he would raise cattle for the academy students. And it was on a Memorial Day weekend, 3 days, we had to catch these calves. And they were not Herefords, they were Brahmers. Brahmer calves are smart. And I didn't know the difference between a Hereford and a Brahmer, but I learned. My grandfather had raised Herefords and stuff, and I saw him milk the cows and all that kind of stuff, bring them in the barn many years. And we'd have to take them to the sale barn every once in a while, and stuff. And he'd ask me on Saturday, hey, come on out here, son, help me get the cattle up. No, it's my Sabbath, I can't do it, Grandpa. I was like, oh, I need another man, I need you to help me. And I was like, it was kind of tough. Sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't. I was trying to make it kind of a different thing. It's kind of tough. So anyway, but I've been raised with that calves. So anyway, these Herefords, I go to this house, and he has roughly about 30 acres of land. And one area is a lot of trees, and then there's an open field over here, and then he's got another kind of tree, and then a fence on the side. And he lined up all these cars for these calves to come down the line and stuff and get in the truck. Well, we're going around and we're chasing these calves, and there's chiggers everywhere, ticks and chiggers galore. And we're going through these bushes and stuff, and these calves are so smart that they duck down by the tree, and you can't see them. And I'm going, are you kidding me? I have never seen Herefords do that. Where do these Brahmers get that to do that? And sure enough, they would duck down and hide. And so you would find one and stuff, and all of a sudden it'd disappear. You're like, where did they go? And you'd be looking around, and there's like 5 of us out there getting 2 calves. And this red one, I started calling it the Red Devil. We went ahead and we got it, around and stuff, and we got both of them. And the red one's coming through just fine on that. We'd gotten it circled around and by the cars and stuff, and we're coming down the aisle. Well, the pastor had his horse and him on his horse as being one of the blockage things, which wasn't smart. And the black one saw that, and he went right for the pastor. And the red one luckily went on through, and we got it locked up, and stuff. But the black one got out again. And I'm going, oh, you got to be kidding. We chased that thing for probably 6 hours, and we finally went home and gave up. So we had to come back the next day. And so I'm sitting there, I'm going to catch this thing. I am going to get that calf. It's the last thing I do. And so we started going around again, trying to catch this thing, and it would hide and do all these things and stuff. And I got smart, and I realized what to do, and I'd catch it, and I'd say, oh, there you are, and I'd hurry up and chase it out, and stuff. And we're all trying to catch this one calf. And so it came around this one side of the trees and stuff, and I saw it coming, and I grabbed a big old log, and I went, pow, right over its head and everything else, and it went through it like it was a twig. And I was like, all right, that's it. Next time I get near that calf, I'm just going to tackle that thing. I am tired of messing with it. I'm going to just tackle it like a football player and knock it to the ground. And so forgetting that calf's about 234 pounds. And so anyway, I come around this corner of this hill, and there's a pond there, and then there's a little dip, and then it goes up on the hill again. And sure enough, that calf was in that dip. Well, Frank Lee was on that one other hill. He saw it I come around where that pond is, and I see the calf, and it sees me. It says, okay. And I'm going, all right, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. I'm ready. You know, I'm going to get you, buddy. And it comes at me. And I'm sitting there just like this. I'm not kidding you now. My legs wide open, and I'm going to jump this thing, and it comes right between my legs. That thing, I'm riding it backwards. I never dreamed that calf would do that. He went right between my legs, and I went, oh, great, Terry, you've done it now. So I reached my hands, tried to run around its belly, and I couldn't touch my other hands. It was too big. And that thing flipped me, and the pastor said he saw me at least 50 feet high in the air doing 3 backward flips. And then he said he saw me land right in a creek bed with rocks. Bam! On my back. And he thought I was dead. He came around that corner freaking out. He said, Terry, are you all right? I said, yeah, I got up. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, wasn't it? He's like, what? I go, yeah, it was like angel's wings, man. I feel great. He's like, really? Wow. Because he said, I thought you were dead. I thought you'd broke every bone in your body. He said, because you did 3 flips. He said, I'm not going to tell your wife what I saw. But, you know, God is marvelous. And he does take care of us, and he watches over us. And so when you go through a challenge in your life, remember that it's a growing time. It's a reason that God's allowing you to go through that challenge. And that, you know, he's always with us, and we can always trust in him that even through the COVID or whatever we have to go through, that he'll love us and he'll take care of us. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you. I just want to share you, because you wanted to hear that story, so I wanted to share that with you.
That was a good story.
All right. Well, thank you, Terry. Yeah, I know there wasn't many of us to hear you tonight, but thank you. I did notice that there were about 20 hits online, so there were, you know, more people online than were here. So, so that's good. It's time now for us to just get together and pray together. And so if we can, you know, get together in groups of, like a couple of groups here, you know, and just pray for one another. Thank you very much.
Amen.